Hi, it's Andriy and my YouTube channel, Mobile Development with Andriy. And yeah, long time no see, and I was just making some posts, working on other projects, but anyway, I decided to record videos again, and not the Android course. Of course, Android course I will finish at some point. No doubts, but today I'm going to record a video about Flutter Flame game engine. This is not just a video, it's a workshop, so we will create a game from scratch together. And yeah, for this workshop you would need some basic knowledge in Flutter. Flutter is a cross-platform technology, you might know already, and yeah, you just basically need to know basic commands in Flutter. So Flutter components we are not going to use because Flame is completely other world, and yeah, we start from Flame page on pub.dev. So as you can see, there is a version 1.13.0. It is multi-platform game engine, and it supports Android, iOS, Linux, macOS, web, and Windows. So quite a range, and you can create some nice indie games for all of those platforms. Unfortunately, there is no support for PlayStation, but Flutter is not running on PlayStation, so this is something which is obvious. It has some sub-packages which you can use. They are, I would say, optional. Maybe somebody can find them useful, especially Rive or Flame block if you want to implement some perfect block architecture. So SVG, for instance, or Forge 2D to make a box 2D physics. Okay, now let's quickly jump to Flame website. This is the website where you can find all useful documentation for your Flame project, and here where everything starts. So this is the map of the website, and yeah, it shows basic Flame architecture. So we're starting from the game widget. This is the bridge between your Flutter project and Flame game engine, so to say. Also, what would be interesting is components, because in Flutter everything is a widget. In Flame everything is a component, so you can use these existing components. So as you can see, there is a Sprite component which we are going to use today. There are also some effects, position components, buttons, and stuff like that. So those components are basically the main objects in your game, and you can add components into each other. You can basically check the collisions between components and things like that, but it's better to see in the real example. So yeah, that's basically it. I want to be short, not dive deep into the documentation. Important thing also to mention that each component has a life cycle. So if you came from Android development, you might know that basically lifecycle is everywhere, but in Android development, for activities, for fragments, there is a lifecycle, and this lifecycle I find a little bit similar to Android. And here you can see the onload function, which is executed at the first place. On-game resize is executed when you change the size of the game, which is obvious. On mount, when the component is mounted in the component trees, and this combination between update and render is calling when you do some changes in positioning component, execute animations or things like that. And obviously if you remove your component from the component tree, on remove is executed. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, the whole architecture is very, very straightforward. So let's jump directly into the coding. Okay, now I'm going to show you the project. This is our project. It's called Flame Workshop. Later I will push all of the changes, all of the steps to GitHub, and you can basically go through all of the steps we're going to implement, and you can find the link in the description below. But this is a classical Flutter project with main.dart file. There is nothing here. I just removed all of the generated code and some widgets, some comments, just to make it more comfortable and reduce some informational noise here. Also, important to mention that this is only macOS. As with macOS, it's really easy to showcase the game. If you don't have a Mac or you're a Windows or Linux user, as you saw before, it's the same approach. So you could have Windows or Linux project, or if you want to implement it on Android or iOS, but you need to control user input in a different way, but I think you will figure it out. So also I've changed the PubSpec YAML. I added Flutter Flame, and also I added assets. Here is the asset folder, and I already prepared assets for you, which was the biggest effort, and it was the most painful part for me as developer, because I'm just not a graphic designer, and I don't really like to work with images. So here we have a bullet, we have a clouds, we have a plane sprite. So this is a sprite image, contains two states. We have a purple explosion, we have a rocket, which is also a sprite, and we have sky, and we have a small cloud. So as you can imagine, we are going to create a game where you can fly on the plane and shoot some evil rockets. So let's see how it's gonna work. Obviously, if we implement something, we basically should have a plan, and this one I created. So there are steps what and how we should create our game. So first step is starting a project. Let's do it and see how it's gonna work. Let's choose this file, and let's start the project. When it's building, we can just check other steps. So we need to create a game class, we need to create a background component, like our blue sky. We are going to create player component using, it's already here. So as you can see, it's just a empty black screen, which is obvious, and we can basically do this. We started the project. Then we need to manage user input. I'm going to use the physical keyboard to control the player on the screen. Also, we need to add some bullets, of course controls for shooting bullets. In the end, we're going to add enemies, handling collisions, and final thing is like a game scenario. We need to handle lives and game over scenario. Well, when our game is over, maybe show some scores. Let's see. So it's going to be a cool journey, and let's start with the creating a game class. Well, second step is pretty obvious and straightforward. First, we would need to create a new Dart file here in the lib. We're creating a new Dart file. We call it game.dart. So here we need to, let's call it sky game, and we would need to extend a flame game. Okay. This is weird. Let's do import manually. No. Flame game. Yeah. At some point, probably it's just a Visual Studio bug. Okay. For now, it's enough, and we need to connect this game with our Flutter application class. So here we would need to do really simple thing. The bridge between Flame engine and Flutter application is game widget. Again, it's the same issue, right? Flame game Dart. Can I do this? No. Yes. Game widget, and we would need to use the special constructor. And as a game factory, we need to path our sky game, which we recently created. Let's try if it works. Yeah, let's stop this instance and run it again, just in case. Should be fast. Yeah, let's see the result. Yeah, it's the same. So we can easily say that we created a game class. So yeah, good result already. Now we would need to create a background component. So imagine a cake. There are different layers, and our bottom layer is our background, and we will add another layers and other components in top of the background. So it's pretty easy and straightforward as well. For that, we already have our assets here. We have two clouds, and we have a sky, which is just a blue rectangle, but it's basically a sky, so there is a nice gradient here. For that, we would need to create a new file. Let's call it sky background.dart. Yeah, I hope now we can create components easily. All imports should work. I would call it sky background component. Yeah, just a naming convention. Add component in the end of the name of your class, so it's easier to understand what exactly is this class about, and in our case, yeah, everything is component. And here we would need to use ParallaxComponent. Again, no imports. This is a bit annoying. Probably it's just my issue. Flame parallax. Does it work? or no, let's just do flame components. Okay, now it looks better. As I showed you before, there are different functions which describing the life cycle of component, and in our case, I mean, there are different ways to initialize something in your component, but I prefer to initialize things inside onload function. So for this we would need to override onload. You don't need to call super in this case, and this is the place where all initialization will happen in our game. So first of all, we would need to create a list of parallax images. And this is just a simple list, and here we would need to add parallax images. So this parallax component has already, let's check the source code. It implements the mixin, which is called hasGameRef, which means that children of this parallax component, they also have the reference to the game, and here we can use it. It's like context in Android, or game is like the main class of the whole project. And here we can basically call load parallax image. It's again import issue, so there is no parallax component, but we don't need that one. We need parallax image, and I think I would need to import it manually. Yeah, it works, thanks God. Now what does it want? It needs a path, it needs a image repeat, and it needs filter quality. So these three parameters we are going to use, and let's check the path. First is sky.png, so it uses the asset folder. The next will be filter quality. We use filter quality none, like the lowest one, because we don't really need to pay attention in details for our background. It can be pretty straightforward. And last but not least, we need to repeat. Like this is the scenario how our parallax image is gonna behave when we add this component. So we need image repeat. Okay. Well, let's format the code. But we also have here other things, because parallax effect doesn't work with only one single image. We basically need to add more images, and I'll just copy paste this to this sky PNG, but we would need the cloud now, cloud PNG and small cloud PNG. Let's see, small cloud PNG. Okay, perfect. We have now a list of futures, which is fine, but we probably need to come back to synchronous code, and let's introduce the new variable result just for the better readability, and we need to await as it's list of futures, so we would need to use future wait parallax images. So we will receive all of the future results for every single list item. We will receive at once here, and we will have a result. What's wrong? Yeah, we would need to add a sync modifier to our onload function. So what is the result now? Result is just a list of parallax images. This is basically what we would need. Now, important to mention that parallax component needs some layers, and we are going to convert our parallax images into the layers. So layer is already something, it's like an object which has additional parameters. So parallax image is just an image, and layer can describe the movement of this parallax image during the parallax effect. So we would need to map our result to parallax layer. Here we need parallax layer. Now finally I have all the imports, and inside I need to pass my image, which is E in this case, parameter. You can name it, yeah, let's rename it to be more precise and make our code understandable. And we would need a velocity multiplier. This parameter is responsible for delta, which describes the movement of each parallax layer. So it can be the same. In our case, I'll do the same velocity multiplier, but you can basically specify velocity multiplier for every single image, for every single layer in your parallax component. Velocity multiplier needs a vector, I think, vector 2, and here we would need to specify x and y. I already have some numbers. I will show how those numbers change the behavior of the parallax layer or the whole parallax background. And okay, let's format the code. Let's see. Cool. Now we have list of or iterable of parallax layers, and finally we can initialize parallax field of the class. So parallax component has obviously parallax, and we can initialize it, and this guy needs layers. And for the whole parallax we need to add base velocity. It will be 0.0. Yeah. What is wrong here? I have layers. Yeah, probably it needs list, so I need to make to list. Yeah, perfect. So now it works. So base velocity here describes the movement of the whole parallax scene of our parallax component, and I want to have the movement only horizontal one. I will show how it looks. Let's run the project. Okay, it's, I believe here. No, nothing. Yeah. I'm silly. I need to add this background component to the game because it's just not used. So the same way as for background, we need to override onload function. And here we just simply call add sky background component. That's it, and let's run the thing. Yeah, now you can see this beautiful sky and it's moving. So yeah, pretty straightforward. So we created a component, we added to the game. Let's say a few words about these parameters. So for instance, I always like to play with numbers. You can basically understand better what's going on. And let's change our velocity multiplier from 4 to, I don't know, 400. So we can see the result better. Let's restart. And see, it's moving super fast. Okay, it's a bit painful to watch. So this multiplier is responsible for movement every parallax layer horizontally. So if we are going to change velocity multiplier y here, it's not gonna change anything because it's just a delta, it's multiplier, so yeah, it's obvious. As soon as we don't change the base velocity here, so if you multiply something on 0, it's gonna be still 0. Let's do here, I don't know, 20 and 3.0 here. Yeah, and let's see how it works. So as you can see, now our sky is moving vertically as well, horizontally and vertically. Because our sky image is gradiented one and it doesn't look cool in my opinion. Well, because you can see this border between layers. Yeah, I'll just move everything back. So let's do here 0 and here 0. Yeah, that's basically it about background component. And we can successfully finish the third action point. Yeah, so I think that's it for now. So I decided to split this video in few parts just to have more attention, so to say, and video is gonna be super long if I will implement everything at once, and soon will be the next part. Maybe as you're already watching, the next part is already released, but yeah, hope you like it. Hit the like button, share, subscribe to this channel. I'm going to create more workshops, and see you later.